expected of them. It's another fine Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us again right here on Your Viewpoint. I am Rotimi Akintunde. If you're joining us for the first time, this program is sponsored by Integrated Communication Services, Yaba Lagos, and it is designed to encourage moral values in our society and see how we can provide possible solutions to societal issues. As we prepare for the 2023 general elections, we are looking at how we can do it right, especially when it comes to voting. But then a lot of persons have been saying, okay, the best way we can vote right is to vote with our conscience. And that's why we've decided to talk about this and see, one, if this is applicable, and if it is, what benefit will it give to us? Will it add any value to our system, to our polity? We get to talk about this and many other issues this beautiful afternoon. I have in the studio with me, joining me this afternoon, a consulting clinical psychologist at Human Total Development Consult. I'm talking about Femi Ogunlaye. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, viewers.
All right. We're talking about voting by conscience, voting with your conscience, voting your conscience. When people say this, before other elections were held, a number of persons talked about, pastors talked about it, leaders, non-profit organizations were advising, urging people, please vote your conscience. When it's time to vote, the right thing to do is to follow your mind and all of that.
Okay.
What is your reaction to this statement, voting with your conscience?
All right. You see, the word conscience, that theme on its own, has a very wider scope. Conscience is an hypothetical concept, that directs individual or people on the way to behave in a positive way, a moral way of behaving.
Okay.
Which is, the conscience is there as far as people are concerned. But one thing, the question we have to ask ourselves today is that what is the state of the nation concerning this particular concept, and what is the psychic of the people? Because we have to look at this very theme from holistically. We have to look at the theme holistically. Bio and psychosocial. Probably the issue of religions can also be brought in.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
As it is now, as it stands, let's look at what people may be thinking. We do not know their minds, but of course, with reports, with things we've seen on TV, on listened to on radio, read in the newspapers, you are a psychologist.
Yes.
And from the number of persons you have attended to, maybe over the years,
Yes.
what exactly would you say about the psyche of a typical Nigerian, as it were?
Okay. Behaviorally, most Nigerians have lost hope.
Why would you say that? When you see people in different places enjoying themselves, you see people making money. In fact, even before coming here today, over the weekend, you still see people celebrating, and you say people have lost hope.
Yes,
How possible is that?
Fine. We are talking about conscience.
Okay.
Is that not?
Yes.
You just mentioned making money now.
Okay.
Are money being made in the right way?
Okay.
Are conscience not being mortgaged? Are people not manipulating issues to make money these days? We are talking conscience. Yes. Fine. Looking at this very word, the key word, it's an important word.
Okay.
Yes. There are three phases. You have what you can call a dead conscience. A dead conscience is like a dead person. it takes God to raise the dead.
Okay. So do we regard that as a state of hopelessness?
Total hopelessness.
Okay.
Yes. Total hopelessness, and also has generated a lot of evil malpractice, and let's get rich and anyhow.
Okay.
Do you understand? Cases of suicide is there. The cases of this ritualism is also there. If you cannot single out human conscience when you look at all those variables, they play very, very key role.
All right. You were going to talk about other types of conscience, so to
Yes,
speak.
yes.
You have mentioned dead conscience. Okay.
Another one is what you can call a wounded conscience. You understand? A wounded conscience, can still be treated. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or a sick conscience that is sick due to certain factors. The third one is a kind of a polluted conscience or a stained conscience. When something is stained, it can be filtered. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have Nigerians in different
You want to say so?
area. Yes, and the psychic.
Since you do not have statistics.
Yeah, the psychic.
Yes. Don't forget, we are talking about more than 200 million people, so to speak. So
let's look at it in a percentage.
Okay.
Yes, an average of 80%. 80% of
No,
Nigerians.
a lot of people will not agree with you in that regard. Yes, but let's quickly look at voting.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Voting as a right and all of that. Now, today, there's what we call apathy. Okay. When people decide to, they don't want to be bothered about voting and all of that.
Yeah.
They just don't want anything to stress them.
Okay.
Whether it comes, fine.
Okay.
Whether they're allowed to vote or something, or they're not
So
allowed.
just-
They don't want to care about what is happening. They're not concerned about.
Yes.
Yes. Now, when it happens like this, how would you describe the mind of people who are not just bothered about the polity, about politics?
Yes.
Or concerned about doing what they are supposed to do.
Okay.
Voting when it's time to vote and all of that.
They don't have that interest.
They are not.
That's
They are
what I'm
not.
saying.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
I think I made mention of a keyword here.
Okay.
Now. That I said a state of hopelessness.
Hopelessness.
Yes, now it's it's an important word when you look at what you have just said. It's only when people have hope. If I have hope now, and that means I can still function. I can still go out.
Some people are hopeless. They regard themselves as being hopeless, but then they still do certain things. The fact that some persons might be regarded as hopeless, they still get some things done. Maybe there's a level of hopelessness, so to speak, when we talk about humans. Is that possible?
There's a level.
Okay.
Not only hopeless, state of hopelessness, in all area of mental whatever.
Okay.
If you talk of depression now, there are level, mild, severe, and chronic. There are also level. But what you have just said now, that even in that state, some people still get things done. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just like you are talking about somebody that has a mental illness. Do you understand what I'm saying? You want to get that person to function normally. It involves a lot of things. You have to bring in therapy, intervention, at all, in all this, no level, counseling. Do you understand? Try to kind of lift up the spirit, the self-esteem of that individual. You'll be thinking of self-esteem. So what you have said, saying that okay, even that in that state, you still have people that functions and all those things. Fine, there will always be. Do you understand? But you see, probably an appeal has been made somewhere. Other promises has also been made that things will be better. Do you understand? Fine. The best thing for an individual is to still believe that things will still be better. Maintain a positive thought. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even in this kind of a state of hopelessness that you are saying, do you understand, or this conscience, do you understand what I'm saying? Because we still have to believe that Nigeria can still be better. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
okay.
Yes.
Now, you, aside the fact that you're a psychologist, you are also a voter. You're an eligible. Do you have your PVC? Do you have your PVC?
My PVC. Let me just leave that for
okay,
now.
Okay, for now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, just ensure you get it as soon as possible.
No, I said let me leave it.
Okay.
So you cannot conclude now.
Okay, I can't conclude. All right, but I know viewers may want to conclude whether you have it or you don't have it. Now, let's look at the fact, what drives you when it comes to voting? Well, you know, campaigns would start and all of that. When it comes to voting, what comes to your mind? With all of this that, you know, we've been listening to, the candidates, our focus is not on the candidate here. Our focus is on individuals.
On the individual, yes.
Okay. Now, but we cannot talk about the individuals without talking about the candidate then, but we are focusing on the individuals now. Now, with all of this you've been saying, or
frustration,
this is, yes, or
yes.
possibly this is the best person and all of that, interviews and all of that. When it comes to voting, you as a voter, what comes to your mind? What drives you?
Okay.
What drives you when it comes to voting, or what drives your voting decisions?
Okay.
As a person?
Okay, I think I cannot digest. You see, it's like you are saying that what is going to make me to vote for a particular candidate?
Not, yes,
Driving my
without
voting-
having to mention a name.
No,
Don't
no, I'm not
forget.
mentioning it.
Oh, okay,
No,
great.
I'm not.
What drives you to say, okay, oh, yes, I'm interested, I want to vote? What drives you as a person? And what drives your decision that, okay, this is my decision to vote for a particular person? What drives you? What comes to your mind?
Okay. I think the first thing I will look at is the personality of that person.
Personality.
When I say personality, you know, personality is a psychological concept. That word personality.
Okay.
That means having accessed that individual, know that individual very well, do you understand? You know, conduct my whatever thing ability, even though that individual may not be close to me.
Do you investigate?
That's what I'm saying. Done the kind of assessment.
Okay.
Do you understand?
How do you do your
person
assessment?
of the individual?
Yes.
Don't I have, you have internet these days,
Internet
you
to
can
find
connect.
out.
Yes, you do
But
a lot
don't
of
forget,
things.
the internet can give you false information sometimes.
Yes, the internet is one thing though.
Okay.
Then in research, do you understand? There's
Yes.
what we call validity and reliability. Yes. So I will have carried out a series of investigation, not
Okay.
one. It's like you want to assess a patient, you use battery of tests, different tests to assess. So I've like collected, done the series of investigation, going to different forums and all that. Then I now found out whether I'm having this same result from this individual. So if the result is reliable, then I can say I pick that one. Then what are the profile of this person? Is this person is an achiever? In the business world or economic world, or no, in the nation, let me not say world, may not have set up any company in America or whatever. The nation that's going to govern. What are the achievements of this individual? What are the achievements? We need to also begin to look at that. Do you understand? I want to give you an example. Somebody came as an interim, just years backward.
Okay.
That's in respect of that Shoneko later.
Okay.
Shoneko.
Okay.
Well, people know that Shoneko was a businessman to the core. Do you understand? So
Okay.
I'm only using that one as a kind of example.
Okay.
There could be other criteria. Yes, but
Okay.
you see, before I could make a decision, I would have done a lot of things. Look at so many variables. Do you understand? Personality, then achievement is just.
All right, we'll be going on a break now. We get to see what Tosin Maliki has for us. Tosin Maliki talked about Gele. For those that are interested in Gele, especially trending Gele, she has something for us, and we will be back after that break. Please go nowhere.
Gele has become more glamorous and stylish than ever before. It is no doubt that women have fallen in love with Gele. The name Gele originates from the Yoruba culture, which refers to as a woman's head wrap. In Igbo culture, the name for traditional head tie is Akisi or Ichafu. Gele comes in different forms, styles, colors and sizes. Gele is glamorous. It brings the wow factor and elevates a woman's traditional outfit. Gele hairstyles are the Nigerian traditional hair tie women wear to weddings, churches, parties, and even to the marketplace. There is no Nigerian event or wedding that you would attend without seeing women elegantly dressed in their colorful hair ties, big and small, worn over either a vibrant Boban Iro for the Yoruba women or with a lace gown, Ankara or George Rapan blouse for the Igbo women. In recent years, the creation of Auto Gele, also known as Pre-style Gele, has made a tremendous difference to how women wear gele for occasions. Auto Gele are Pre-style Gele, which eliminates the need of struggling with gele while trying to tie and style it. As you already know, gele is a stylish headgear that complements the native wears for women. It comes in different types and fabrics. Some are stoned, some are glittery, some are flowery, and some are plain, while others come with other details. Women are more deliberate about this headwear, not necessarily to display class during events, but to elevate their outlook. When it comes to traditional wedding in Nigeria, the bride-to-be selects the best gele style and fabric to match her outfit and stand out from our Shoibi girls. Here are the latest trending gele styles you can rock for various occasions. Ankara Gele, Ashoke Gele, Avant-garde Gele, Flowery Umbrella Gele, Infinity Pleats Gele, Perfect Rose Gele, Pleats Overload Gele, Side Rose Gele, Side Twisted Fan Gele, Silk Satin Gele, White Flower Design Gele. Indeed, all these gele styles help women look more beautiful, cover up during a bad hair day, and above all, complement their look.
Thanks so much for staying with us. This is Your Viewpoint, and we're still talking about voting by conscience, or voting with your conscience, or voting your conscience. No matter how you want to look at it, we're still talking about conscience and voting and all of that. I still have Ogunlaye, Femi Ogunlaye, a clinical psychologist in the studio, and we're still talking about issues surrounding voting your conscience or voting with conscience. Now, before we went on that break to see the gele video, I was going to ask a question about what makes up a man's conscience.
Okay.
What makes up a man's conscience? What exactly forms the conscience of a man?
Okay. Let me start from the psychological point of view now, very briefly. There's a theorist, that's Piaget in psychology. Said that the mind of a child is like a tabula rasa. It's an empty slate, nothing on it.
The blank slate.
It's a blank slate.
Okay.
When God created, I'm now going into religion.
All right.
God created man. That conscience God put it is already there, but it's hypothetical. We may not see it, but it's there. So now, over the time, this mind, the mind that's empty slate, there are things that are being written on it. The environment, whatever things, positive, negative things are being written on it. So over the time, the human conscience begin to develop. Do you understand? Begin to mature, develop, get to maturity and other things like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So until at a particular age, it now formed. Do you understand? So norms and culture are also part of factors or variables that also help in the development of conscience. Education is also part of it, because I remember in those days there's an adage. They say yes, that was in the days.
Okay, just trying to say, okay, do not kill or
so,
try to be
yes.
good.
So
Nothing about morals.
that alone will tell you that look, you cannot even kill an ant.
Yeah,
not
so
to talk of human being.
so be considerate.
So
Yes.
the conscience begin to develop. Do you understand? Now, other factors that you can also look at is the law, the legal aspect too.
Okay.
Yes, an average individual or a normal person, if there's a law that stipulates a penalty for a particular thing, before you go into that, the majority, you will think of that penalty over the time. So that your conscience will be developed along that line too. So those are things that make the conscience, because the conscience is there, is there. Do you understand? That make the conscience to be formed. Do you understand? So That's
All right, let's look at
then religion too.
religion.
The
Yes.
ministry, preaching, in religion houses and other things.
Yes.
That God doesn't want this. You need to fear God. You need to have the fear of God.
Yes.
These are things that help
Yes.
to mold human conscience.
Okay, great. That takes us to the issue of religion and voting decisions.
Okay.
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 Let's look at the influence of religion on voting decisions.
Okay.
Voting choices. Voting choices. Now,
Yes.
let's look at that. What effect do you think religion is having on voting decisions or voting behavior or the behavior of voters, so to
Yes.
speak,
Yes.
such that it affects their conscience?
Okay, that's religion on voting.
Yes,
behavior.
yes, yes. We want to look at that because you see, in fact, there was a time somebody was saying, okay, vote your faith and all of that.
Yes.
But then some other persons are saying, vote your conscience.
Yes.
So let's look at the
The
two
issue of
concepts.
religion now.
Yeah, the
how
religion.
it affects
Yes.
the voting, the conscience.
The-
as
yes.
regards voting.
Voting decisions.
Yes.
What is your opinion on that? Do you see religion affecting
It's
voting
not
choices?
for now. In this present day, it's it's not negligible. It's not. It's not.
You mean
because
it's not avoidable?
no. But the preachers in religious homes, they kept on preaching. They are still preaching.
Okay.
That you have the fear of God. Because the conscience is the fear of God in you. Have that fear of God. But then, what about all those concomitant variables? The level
want
of
to give examples
the
of
level
those
of
variables?
frustrations is very high.
Okay.
Poverty is
So are you saying
yes.
religion?
It's supposed to influence
Okay.
positively.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you know, there's what they call tolerant level. It's a psychological concept.
Okay.
It's a tolerant level. Do you understand? The way you will tolerate will be different from the way I will
No,
tolerate.
my. Let's look
So
at
no
it.
matter the level
Okay.
of administration, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because of the survivor, the need for survivor, only people with a high level of faith in God will want to restrain themselves.
Okay, let's look at it from this perspective. My question is,
Yes.
do you see religion affecting the voting decisions of people when it comes to voting? Do you see them, wanting to go back and say, okay, because this is my faith, so I have to do this? Do you see that happening? Okay, let's put it to you. You as a voter, do you consider your faith before you vote?
Let me go straight to what you asked.
Okay.
Recently,
Do you do that? Have you been doing that?
whether was
Yes, you as a voter, have you been doing that in the past?
because somebody is this,
Yes,
then
because
I
of
just
what
because
you-
of
do you
that,
do that?
I have
Yes.
to go for him or
Do
vote
you
for
do
him.
that?
I don't. No, I don't do that.
Okay. And do you
and
know?
I will not. I will not do that. I will not do that.
And now you see, in some other cases, you see people wanting to, concerning their voting choices, they want to look at what others
Yes.
are doing.
Yes.
How do you think that's a problem? Don't you see that as a problem?
It's a problem because people are not well educated. Yes, that people are not made to know that they are unique individual. You understand? They are unique individual. These fingers are not equal. So people should know education will go a long way to kind of enlighten people. You understand on the nature of man and the environment they interact with. I think So if you want to go because people want to do this, it means that you don't know that you as a person you are a unique person. So then you need to be well educated on so many areas.
Maybe some, because we have well-educated people in the
And
country.
you
as well.
you should also realize that that percentage of Nigeria are illiterate. Yes, and you also have educated illiterate. Yes, that you have gone through the wall of that you have gone through the wall of university does not mean you are educated. Yes, we have graduates. We have people that do not even go to university.
What's your definition of education?
Intellectual.
What's your definition of education? Somebody who is educated. How do you define an educated person?
An educated person is such an individual that have a well-structured intellect. Yes, and have an inborn, but over the time was able to go through a kind of an exposure that's also added to that intellect.
Okay.
And that person is able to manipulate his environment positively.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Still remember you can join us on our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms. That's at Your Viewpoint. You can of course drop your comments there. We're still talking about voting your conscience. You can also send your SMS to the numbers showing on your screen, and we get to take them and see how the guests would react to those messages. Now let's look at, you mentioned the other time you talked about personality type.
Yes.
And we want to look at we're still talking about the psyche
Yes.
of voters.
Yes.
Now a lot of things come up
Yes.
when campaigns are brought up like that. So we want to look at different things that could possibly distract the conscience or try to waive or push aside voting with conscience. But first, do you agree with the fact that voting with conscience or voting your conscience can be valuable to our polity, to politics, or to our political system in the country? Do you agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, great. Why do you agree with that?
Because an individual with a clear conscience, you understand, if at least 80% of Nigerians are going to vote based on their conscience, you understand,
Okay.
it means the country will be better. It means the things will work. Unlike when you say nothing works in Nigeria, it means many things will work in Nigeria, many positive things will work in Nigeria. Do you understand? And you see, it makes the incoming generation too. We have a base. Do you understand? So that's your.
And what are the possible reasons people do not vote their conscience, or they want to sell their conscience, as we see sometimes?
Because
What are the possible reasons?
you see, because the reason is that survivor. I'm going to put the word survivor as an umbrella word. Because when you talk of frustration, it's still survivor.
Okay.
When you talk of people hopelessness, it's still survivor. Because as we are talking now, some people have not even eaten their breakfast. I'm only saying.
Okay.
So the need to survive, do you know what I'm saying? Is the key word. So, and if that urge to survive is there, and there are a lot of variables that are punching that survivor,
Okay.
there is that possibility that that person will give up to sell his conscience, to do whatever things like that. Give an example. A drug addict, if he doesn't take the drug, it results to withdrawal syndrome.
Okay.
Because the physiology, body physiology and body psychology depends on the drug. A drug, there could be fever, headache.
All right.
Something.
Let's.
So it's ready to
okay,
sell.
okay.
That person is prepared to sell his conscience.
His conscience.
Or mortgage his conscience in order to take care of that very need, or to stop that symptoms. I'm just giving that one as an example. There could be other areas, yes.
All right. And remember the other time I was going to ask about personality traits and all of that. And
Yes.
I was going to talk about strategies.
Yes.
Campaign will start soon and all of that.
Yes.
So what are possible things that people should look out for so that they can actually decide and be rational when it comes to taking decisions? Okay, there are strategies. In advertising, for instance, you may want to appeal to people's emotions. You may want to appeal to different things. You may want to use different tactics, so to speak. You as a voter, and of course over the years you have been voting, what are those possible techniques that may be used, to distort the psyche of a voter? What are the possible strategies that can be used to distort the psyche of a voter when it comes to, the campaign strategies and all of that? What
Is
are
it
those
to
things?
improve on the psychic?
Yeah,
Is that distort?
No.
Distort means
I mean
to derail.
Yes, to derail.
That's what distort.
Yes, to derail, such that trying to look for the best, then you get distracted, and it looks like, okay, probably because somebody looks good,
Yes.
the appearance is wonderful, then you want to go for that person. And of course, you and I know that it's not about appearance. The other time you were talking about achievements and all of that.
Yes,
so my question is, what are those possible techniques? You can draw that from your past experiences.
Yes, no.
And before, when you have been voting, years you have been voting and all of that, past elections and all of that, what are the possible things, strategies you see?
From politicians,
techniques, yes, the campaign strategies that may distort
okay. The
voters,
psychic.
yes, the psyche of voters, such that voters that are not well enlightened might, get confused, yes, and at the end of the day, they go for the wrong thing.
So fine, you may disagree with me anyway.
Okay.
The psychic is battered already. You're having this compared with 10 years or 10 years. I'm going to give you the reason. Not everybody, but you still have exemption.
Okay.
There are exceptional cases. The psychic of average Nigerian is already battered.
Okay.
And that's why you see people moving out of the country. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why you see people taking to drug. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those who cannot take to drug. Those who cannot.
But some people moving out of the country move out for different reasons. Some for scholarship.
You need to look at the majority.
Majority.
And when you talk the large percentage of people, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
If they put a 10 plane aircraft in Nigeria or 100, let me say 1 million.
Okay.
Give it another 10 minutes, the whole thing will be filled. A majority of them are going out because they're going out to look for a better.
But you've not answered my question.
Okay.
My question is, my question is, what have you seen? Over the years, you have also voted. You are a voter.
Yes, now.
Yes, over the years, if we want to count back 4 years, 8 years, and all of that, what are those things that tend to distract you, or possibly make you want to vote, but those things are not valid? The other time you talked about reliability and validity. So what are those things?
Simple, most of the promises are fake, are not being fulfilled, are not being implemented.
Okay, maybe we should talk about the promises sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
If they're not being fulfilled, somebody coming up, the regime coming up today, make promises.
Okay.
And those promises are not being fulfilled. Do you know how many times past regimes, because I'm not going to base on my particular regime now, I've been telling Nigerians the power will be okay, the power will be okay.
All right.
These are things that the fake promises. Don't know what I'm saying? Fake promises, yes.
Okay, now because we will go on a break shortly, but before then, I'd like you to let's look at this word conscience.
Conscience, okay.
Yes, but then let's look at what informed conscience can mean. You can possibly have this conscience,
yes,
but possibly do not know the right thing
to do. Okay.
Yes, sometimes you think, okay, this thing is right, but then it is not right. But you just have the feeling, you just feel
that is right.
Yes, remember this also relates to the strategies I'm talking about.
Yes.
Situations whereby you're seeing something as good, but because of your level of education.
Yes. There are still some issues.
Yes.
That thing
possibly some discoloration, so to speak. And
okay.
because you don't have the resources to investigate or to do certain things.
Yes.
So my question is, informed conscience, how can people get themselves informed, and to what extent can it help their voting decisions?
You just talk about religion.
Okay.
Abi, you just talk about religion.
Yeah. Yes, we talked about religion initially.
Religion is expected to play a very key role in remolding people. Do you understand? In the kind of bringing people's conscience back to what is expected. Do you understand what I'm saying? But don't forget that even the follower in most religious places also look at the leaders in the church. Can I model this person? Is what this person passing across to me? Do you understand? You will find out that even people that are even passing these messages across also they have defaulted too. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what we actually informed your conscience. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is probably maybe to be very awful when the new regime now comes up.
All right.
And there are things
Wait, let's go on this break.
Yes.
We have to go on this break, and this video we're going to see it's about sport, about technology,
Okay.
FIFA's new technology concerning the next this World Cup in 2022. And right after that, we're on the streets of Lagos to see what people had to say about voting rights.
Okay.
Voting rights. They talked about voting rights and sensitization.
Okay.
Do you think we still need more sensitization in Nigeria? All right, let's get to hear what they had to say. We will be back after this break.
Technology has redefined the world and has made life easy for everyone in every aspect of life. The sports industry has embraced technology so well in its games, but recently the World Football Governing Body FIFA has announced that a semi-automated offside technology would be used at this year's World Cup in Qatar. This is a technological breakthrough in sport. The semi-automated offside technology, which will be used at the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar starting on 21st November, is offering a support tool for the video match officials and the on-field officials to help them make faster, more accurate and more reproducible offside decisions on the biggest stage of all. The year 2018 marked the successful use of the VAR technology at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. Meanwhile, the president Gianni Infantino declared in the Vision 2020 to 2023 that FIFA will strive to harness the full potential of technology in football and further enhance VAR. FIFA has indeed continued to be at the cutting edge of technology in the game. Amazingly, FIFA has spent the last few years further improving the VAR system, including the use of semi-automated offside technology. The new technology uses 12 dedicated tracking cameras mounted underneath the roof of the stadium to track the ball and up to 29 data points of each individual player 50 times per second, calculating their exact position on the pitch. The 29 collected data points include all limbs and extremities that are relevant for making offside calls. After the decision has been confirmed by the video match officials and the referee on the pitch, the exact same positional data points that were used to make the decision are then generated into a 3D animation that perfectly details the position of the player's limbs at the moment the ball was played. This 3D animation, which will also show the best possible perspectives for an offside situation, will then be shown on the giant screens in the stadium and will also be made available to FIFA's broadcast partners to inform all spectators in the clearest possible way. The workflow of semi-automated offside technology and the connected ball technology have been successfully tested at numerous test events and live at FIFA tournaments, including the FIFA Arab Cup 2021 and the FIFA Club World Cup 2021. During these matches, the new technology was able to support the video match officials by helping them to make more accurate and more reproducible offside decisions in a shorter period of time. The 2022 FIFA World Cup is scheduled to take place in Qatar from 21st November to 18 December 2022. This will be the first World Cup ever to be held in the Arab world, and it will be the second World Cup held entirely in Asia after the 2002 tournament was held in South Korea and Japan.
I would say we are improving, because prior to now, people just feel it's business as usual. But you can tell now that the youth have, really taken up the task to sensitize themselves beyond what the government is doing. And of course, now you can see there is road show, there is stage performance by artists in LBS, in other part of, so I said LBS, in TBS, and in other parts of the country, sensitizing people on their rights. So a lot of people that do not think it is so. Some Nigerians, some youths believe I beg, I know the votes, I beg, I don't get time for all of those things. But now we can see that if you do not vote, even if you're voting the person that is, that won't win at the end of the day, you are sure that you've satisfied your conscience. So the sensitization is at the top gear, and I think youth are now more aware of their responsibility.
Well, as for me, I know I have a right, but many people, even there are a lot of educated people out there that they will tell you their votes doesn't count, so they will decide not to vote. Everybody should know his or her right pertaining voting. Yeah, there should be, and in fact, there is. So they are at least making people to be aware of who to vote for and how to vote and everything. Because this time around, it's not going to be ordinary paper and thumbprint. It's going to be electronic voting. So they should at least put more effort on that in, sensitizing that.
Nobody is aware of their voting right, but this time around, we are coming out. I believe we should come out en masse to vote. Well, the government, I think they've done their own part. They are trying, and they are still trying. They are still working on it. So more information should be passed across. People are always very scared when it comes to election period of the dangers. You understand? That is why most people do not vote. But this time around, they should provide. I know they provide, adequate security, but they should just make people understand that adequate security will be provided, and people will go out and vote.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking voting by conscience on your viewpoint, and I still have with me in the studio Femi Ogunlaye. And we have a number of messages here, but before then, I would like you to react to what people talked about. They talked about voting rights and all of that. And some people, probably because they do not know their rights, and they are not just bothered. What do you think?
Well, that comes to the issue of sensitization.
Yes.
It should be a continuous thing anyway. For those that do not know their right, they should be made to know that it is their right and obligation to exercise their voting.
Okay.
But I was able to listen to this sensitization done through musical, whatever all this.
Okay. What's your opinion about
that? Nigerians have done that on many occasions.
Yes.
But the question is, has it really worked? If it has worked, Nigeria as a country should not be in this kind of a state. That is an indirect approach to sensitization.
Really?
Yes, it's an indirect.
Why?
Because the third party is involved.
Are you saying it's not?
I'm not saying. No.
Okay.
When you say one thing may not be enough to accomplish a goal.
Okay, great.
Nigerians need what they call direct sensitization. It's not only sensitization through a third party. Let the candidates.
I know the commission is doing that.
Which commission? Nigerian Broadcasting
INEC.
Commission.
INEC is doing that. Yes. Sometimes they organize programs and all of that.
To what extent?
Seminars and all of that.
Yes. I'm not going to dispute that.
Okay.
Even NBC.
Okay.
But to what extent? Yes. Nigeria needs these candidates for now to come out on series of occasions, not one or two. Those they may not be enough to realize X. Let them come out and tell Nigeria what they are up to.
No, that's a different kettle of fish.
No,
we're talking about what when we talk about sensitization. Don't forget that this is just the duty of the media, the duty of the commission. It's another thing when the candidates are coming out. Don't forget that the candidates will come out to campaign. Don't forget. Of course, tell us what they want. Yes.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
What is your own meaning of that concept? What sensitization?
All right, let's move to
you understand?
The message. Yes.
To me, sensitization means you want to a kind of
enlighten
educate people,
enlighten
people. Do you understand? Well, enlightenment could be done through so many channels. Yeah, it could be done through the candidates could also enlighten us on the need why we should vote for him.
Absolutely.
We call it campaign.
Absolutely.
Campaign is a political slogan.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We take some messages here. This one is from Suleiman Ogumola. Suleiman says, I think people becoming self-aware. They are becoming more self-aware of their voting rights because of the hardship in the country today.
Yes.
There's another message. Olatunji Alabi says, I think that there should be more awareness
Yes.
or sensitization. People need to get their voters card to cast their votes.
Yes.
There are so many people who believe their vote doesn't count.
Yes.
That mindset needs to be changed. Also, there should be massive sensitization to educate people, particularly not to sell their votes for
Agree. Yes.
money.
Yes.
What's
That's
your
right.
view? What do you have to say to people who think their vote don't count? What's your advice for them? What do you have to say to them?
They cannot continue to maintain that kind of a thought. Yes. Positive thoughts
Yes.
will make you to achieve a lot. When you're going to regain, when you say your vote doesn't count, it's a kind of negative thought.
Okay.
It's being retained. You don't need to retain such a thought. Do you
Okay.
understand? Life is about moving, never stationary. You cannot be stationed. So, and you see, you need to have different perception towards this life. That things is like this now does not mean that things cannot change. I have said it, Nigerians can see this country.
Like people say, change is the only constant thing.
This country has a lot of resources. Yes, so things can still be changed for better. It can still be better. Do you understand? But then we should continue to maintain that positive.
Okay, you
thought.
just gave a word of hope there that things can be better.
Yes,
And of course,
yes.
I would believe it will
So,
definitely
but
get
maintain
better.
positive thought towards the nation.
The nation.
Yes.
All right, and say God bless Nigeria, isn't it?
Yes.
Like they say in America, God
Yes.
bless America.
Yes.
Okay, a typical Nigeria.
God going to bless Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Because God has already blessed Nigeria. Yes,
That's
we have
interesting.
enormous resources. Yes.
Okay, great. Let's take this last message. Ezekiel Frank from Yaba. The electoral body in Nigeria needs to work on simplifying the process of both obtaining voters card and casting votes. Sometimes, as a result of the stressful process, such as queuing under the hot sun, people get discouraged and then go home. What's your take about that? That people, as a result of staying under the sun, on the election day, people get tired, they get discouraged. This person is saying you should simplify the process. Do you think the process is simple enough?
The INEC or the structure that is responsible for it could do more now. They should be able to do more because the people have different tolerance level. Do you understand? So, and don't forget that some people may leave their home, not eating, then go to exercise their voting right. Do you understand what I'm saying? So such a person, you don't expect that they need to kind of be able to tolerate. So let the INEC going to simplify the thing. Do you understand? There should be that continuity. Are we still lacking? How can we improve on this? What else do we still have to improve on? No, it should be a continuous thing. Improvement must be a continuous thing, just like individual improvement.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. We've been talking about voting with conscience, voting by conscience, and of course we've been able to touch a lot of things as regards factors that could distort you when it comes to taking voting decisions. We get to talk more about some other issues next week. This is where we get to round off. I want to appreciate my guests for coming on the show. You want to give a parting shot concerning what we've talked about today. What's your advice for viewers?
Okay, I'm going to come up with a kind of a tool.
Okay.
Of use sentences.
Okay.
The first one is do it now.
Do it now. Okay.
Do it now in the sense that I'm relating it to the present, to the theme now.
Yes.
Go and register.
I need you to
Collect
look
your
at them so that, yes.
Collect your voting card. Do everything to collect
your PVC
now. Yes. Then never give up.
Never give up.
Because Nigeria will still be better. I don't want to use can.
Yes.
Because Nigeria will still be better.
Nigeria will still be better. Okay, that's the parting shot here. Thank you so much. Do it now. Never give up because Nigeria will still get better. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And of course, we'll be back again next week. Same time, same station. I am Rotimi Akintunde. Bye for now.